This week in Ken's Tech Lab, we're going to be upgrading the Nextruder on the MK4. We're getting so close to the MK4S. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the bench, everybody, and this week is going to be continuation. This is part 3, and this is going to be upgrading the Nextruder, and looks like it's going to have an external fan. It's going to be a little bit out from it, so it's going to have some brackets that we need to add. This is also looking at the MK4S MMU3, which we do not have the MMU on here. If you have a single material printer, which we do, continue to the next step. And we're going to need, looks like the torx back again, a T6 and the T8. Also, looks like we're going to also need the 2.5 millimeter on this. Looks like we're going to need the special wrench to remove the nozzle, screwdriver, and pair of pliers. Alright. So it's saying that it's highly recommended to protect the heat bed and to cover it. So what I'm going to do, we don't need this on, we're not doing any printing. Alright, so what we're going to do is cover up this. It'll probably fall off a few times. Alright. So it says move the Nextruder to the center. So we're going to put this right over here. Remove the love board cover. And that's from the back, actually, I believe. So move, this is X center, says blah blah. Remove the love board cover by sliding it up. Okay, forgot how easy that was. All right, remove the love board cover right from the printer. Okay, so I believe it's saying remove the love board cover right from the printer. So right would be this little piece right here. And let me get the second camera on here. So that should be this piece right here. And let's see if I can get a tool in there. Let's slide this back over. I don't think we're throwing this one away. Alright. We'll set it down over here. That was just covering these wires. Okay. Next, remove the M3x30 screws with the springs from the Nextruder. Okay, these are these two right here. You can see them, and there's the two right there. We're going to remove those two. Okay. It does say this on the thing. Do not discard any of these parts. You're going to need them later. Okay, that's one. And that takes this whole other piece off. Okay. Remove the idler swivel assembly. Let's see. Release two M3 end nuts and remove the two M320 torx screws from the idler swivel. So they want us to tear this completely down, so I'm going to turn this back around to me. And this should help because we're working in this area right here. Okay. So it looks like we're going to take this all apart right here. And that is not what we're looking for. Okay. This is going to require pliers that they told us about that we'll need. So let's get the camera over. Okay. So the best thing to do would be hold it with that. Now this is self-locking nuts, so they're not going to just spin off until we get to the end. And what we'll do is let them fall here. Maybe we're getting this new piece. So, as we watch it fall apart, okay, and that's gone. Okay. You will no longer need the plastic parts. So that's there. I kind of threw the nut across here. There we go. All right. That's off. It says tear the assembly into parts. Yeah, we tore it into parts all right. Okay, for the following steps, we're building a new one. Alright, so we're going to be dealing Nextruder, 1 of 2 bags. And there's all the parts we have in there. Okay, what it wants. And these are made out of the new material. Alright, that's all the pieces we need. We're going to use the 2 M30x3 screws and the M3x20 torx. M3N nuts. It doesn't say new part, it doesn't say used. Let's see if we have new ones. We do have 2 brand new ones right here, and that's how many we need. I think because it's a locking nut, excuse me. I think because it's a locking nut, and the threads, when using it, after using it once, the threads are pretty well, it won't lock as well again, so it gave us new ones. Alright. So we have all them. Now it's time for the assemble. So we have this part and this part. And they look about the same. So what we're going to do is take the M3 torx, that's this one, push it through the one next to the bigger side, and then we're going to get the, they call this a bearing. Is this a spacer? It's not a bearing, it's just a spacer, which is right there. And we're going to put that in. Okay, then they want you to just bring in the other side, which is the other one just like that one, and slide it over and put the nut on there. Okay. Okay, there it is. That. And it says to tighten it lightly because it needs to rotate. So what I did last time was held this by here and tighten it too tight. Back that off just a hair. a turn. Okay, next. Hold it in this position and put it where the two screws face up. And we're going to put it in here. Okay. Wants to use the other torx. So it also wants it to be putting in the same direction as the first one was. So make sure it goes through. Okay, so you have a screw head on that side with the other one, both the same. And then what we're going to do is just screw this down and lightly tighten it. So I'm going to hold this on. Okay. Needs to get a little bit more. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I think this one needs to be loosened just a hair more. All right. Cool. Okay, inserting the M2 screw the same side, like the first screw, securely. Do not over tighten the nut. It must be possible to move the idler swivel on the idler nut. Okay. And right now, as you can see, moves just too good. Okay. Let's just put it aside. So we'll throw that up there. All right, disconnecting the Nextruder cables. And note there's safety latches on each of the connectors which you must push in order to remove the connector. Disconnect the small connectors from the left side of the lug board. Okay. So that's going to be all these connectors in here off the motherboard, lug board, and we're going to do that now. And like they said, these have a little clip on each one of them, so they have to be pushed in. So it looks like we're going to take the high heat off. This is the top one. Goes to the heater. Okay, that's off. Okay, that one's off. Just rechecking the instructions. Now I'm not putting any pressure on the needle nose pliers. I'm just using that to press down the latch. I'm using my finger to actually take off the thing. Okay. That was kind of tight until you start removing some of this stuff. There's no way for it to back out. There we go. Alright. All of them are out there, as you can see. We've removed all of them from the left side of the board. Okay. This one is actually an E on top, right there for extruder. So they want us to take that out. Okay. Okay, there's wires on the side of an extruder also, and those are right here and here. So they want those off. Do that now. That's 1, 2. So that's this one and this one. Okay. Okay. Now they want us to remove the fan door, the fan from the fan door hinge, which is this. As you can see right here, this one is right in there, and there's a little hinge that lets this move, and that's what we're going to take off right now. I'm going to see if this screwdriver will fit. If it does, great, which it does. Okay. There's that screw. So now it wants this print fan, as you can see, it comes off, and there is the hinge assembly. So it just went in there, and you could swivel it out or in. Okay. So this was the fun part when I first built this. You can go back and watch the video of me building the MK4 from the kit, and the wires are hidden. I mean, it looks so nice and neat in there, but to get them in through here to make sure you don't see them and they're not in the way of anything was not a good time at all. So they want us to actually take these wires back out. As you can see, this is the main heater block, and I believe the other ones are the thermistor, that one right there. And you don't really have to worry because they're all marked, right? They all have tags on them. And there's the front fan. Okay. And that's all of them that we've taken off. Alright, now we have to remove the heatsink and the heatsink fan. Removing the heatsink fan and hot end. So release the two M3x20 screws that secures the fan. So that's these two in here and one there. So we're going to do that now. Okay, that's one. And that's two. So there's the fan, screws. There's not even any dust on this fan. It is like it was brand new. Okay. All right. So, PRUSA had this as a quick disconnect for the hot end. As you can see, there's the thermistor wire and the main power wire into the block. Okay. So it wants to loosen the three screws. That's 1, 2, 3 on the Nextruder, and we're going to do that now. It didn't say take them off; it said loosen them. So. Okay. Yeah, it wants them off. One more. There we go. And one more wire that they didn't say anything about, which was right there. And then there's the full Nextruder. Alright. Alright. So what holds on this hot end is just two thumb screws here to the side. One, two. Okay, I'm going to push this printer back so we have room to work on the Nextruder. I hate it when there's things in red on the instructions, but it says that there are two types of gearboxes on the MK4 printer. The old design with 4 screws and the newer design with 3 screws. Well, we have the newer design, only 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. Another difference is the older gearbox uses plastic spacer. No, I have a metal spacer. And the newer one has a metal washer. Replacing it isn't necessary. It is full gearbox teardown and offers no functional advantage. Okay, what does it say? The newer one has a metal washer. Replacing it. Metal washer. Replacing it isn't necessary as it has required. Okay. Warning, the following procedure must be carried out with extreme care and caution no part of the gearbox itself should be removed unless instructed to. Good, because we had to use a special tool to turn and get this in here. And you couldn't tell if it actually was in there correctly until you actually, well, put it together and turned it on. If you lose any part of this assembly, please contact our customer support. All right. Let's have fun. Let's everybody get out your favorite beverage of choice. Mine is coffee, and let's have a minute break on this. Okay. So we're going to take off the 3 screws, but not removing the gearbox. Okay. Yeah, let's make sure it was still in view. I think when I held my breath when building this part of it, due to the fact that this is the Nextruder, and when you buy a PRUSA, the Nextruder comes all together, right? So this one, having to build it yourself, is a little bit more nerve-wracking. And okay, those are M325s. Okay. Again, we're only taking the top off. Okay. Now everybody can see down, and into the Nextruder. Sort of like a clock. It's got 2 gears, and they rotate around each other. Let's say the gearbox will remain open for some time. Take care to prevent dirt or debris from entering it. Well, it's not going to be open that long because we're going to go right ahead. Okay, so they want us to put the screws back just so this thing doesn't like fall apart. Because the Nextruder, when it goes in once, turns, goes in again, turns again, and then goes in all the way down. It was a process how they had all the gears in there just kind of going together. All right, we're at step 15, and this is removing the extruder idler, and the idler is right here. Okay. So this right here, and I read it 3 or 4 times. And I looked at it like 3 or 4 times, and I forgot that there is a screw with a torx that went right in the top right there. Then this just slides right out. All right. Take the screw apart. So now what it wants us to do is take this back apart and take the rollers off and the shaft. Be careful because there is a shaft here. And the roller. Okay. And take out the spacer. So it looks like the only thing we're doing here is we're actually changing out the kind of the material that it's made with. So all right, get out the new one. And that is these two. Okay. So we're going to put it in this orientation. You can see that here the screw heads go down inside this one. Okay. So what we're going to do is take the two axes where the pulley, the little pulleys run on right here. Okay. So what we're doing is just changing out the plastic. We are not changing out and getting new bearings for this or anything. We are just putting them on a new piece of plastic. Okay. And we're just going to put the top on. Okay, like that. Okay. We're going to take the screw that we took off. That's the little one. And we're going to put it back in. Okay. Now they say do not over tighten because the bearings still need to turn right inside here. And it's really hard because you can't get your fingers on them. Then we're going to take the push through that we had from before. And this just pushes through both plastic parts. Just like that. And we're just going to push it all the way down. Kind of get it centered. Okay. And it is going to be. Okay. There we go. Everything has to be flush on the bottom here. So that's how it goes together. All right. New part, cover. that makes it the PRUSA MK4S. Just have the markings on it, that's all. Okay. And the screw that we actually removed earlier that I didn't remember it being really an upside down screw, and that is this one right here. Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take this and put this back in the idler. There we go. Then we're going to find out which side has the screw part on it. And we're going to put it through the idler. Then we're going to take our smallest hex, and we're just going to turn this down. And what this will do is screw all the way through it. And that's it. All right, now these screws that we've been leaving in here because we didn't want the Nextruder falling out. Take them back out. Put the new MK4S on. And if you look at the picture in the instructions, you'll see the fan downwards, so towards you. And then you should be able to read original PRUSA MK4S. And what I would do is set all three of them in there so to make sure that it's straight. Put this back away, we don't need that anymore. And we can go ahead and close this up. There we go. All right. This step, we're going to actually mount the idler swivel back in there. And that was the one that we rebuilt. This one right here. And two M3x30s and two springs. So these are the screws with the springs on them. So how you know this one is because we took these off, had the springs on it. These are tensioners. Okay. So back on the extruder, there's two holes that are right here. Okay. And what we're going to do is push these through And this goes against the 2 screw holes here. So you have the screws that are going to go in here, and then you have the screw holes that are going to go in like that. There's a flat side to this, so you know which side goes toward the other side. So what I usually do, start one, and grab the other one. And don't forget the spring stays on the outside. That's what gives it the tension. If it doesn't swing around on you. All right. So now your 2 screws are in. Here's an idler assembly. Like that. And then that holds onto this with the tension on these 2. So you can still pull it out. Alright, welcome back everybody, and we're on step 22 if you're following along. And what we need to do now is we're going to be working on this little part right here, and what it's going to do is probably just extend the fan out to a different location. So we're still working with the Nextruder. If everybody remembers, we just got done taking and putting a new face on this, and also redoing the tensioner. Alright, so on the front of this there's 3 screws that we actually took out, so I'm just going to pop all 3 of these out. Here, when you get the camera better in a better, there we go, you should see, yep, okay. So on the bench here, what I have is the heat sink and the 3 screws. And it looks like what we're going to do is the 3 screws match up with this. So from the front side of the Nextruder, let's see, side with the printed logo, insert the 3 M screws into the heatsink. Okay, so put them in. One goes in the center. Okay, that's 3. Make sure the protrusion protrudes toward you. from the extruder motor side of the heatsink, attach the MK4S fan holder to the heatsink. Okay. So from here, we're going to screw the 3 screws, and the fan cable is going to come out here. Okay. Ah, okay. See, avoid pinching the NTC thermistor cable. Okay, let's see if these things screw down. Not really. Okay. So it wants us to screw this back onto the X carriage like it used to be. So that would be, let's see if we can get this in here. Okay. So we're putting this back like it used to be. And that looks correct. So okay, without pinching the thermistor wire, which we did. Good job, Ken. All right. Okay, the Nextruder's back on. Okay, I did that. That's done. And it looks just like the picture. That's good. Probably won't see this for a while ever again. So I want to make sure those screws are tight. Okay. Connecting the NTC thermistor. So locate the cable channel, which this is where we pulled them. If you remember, we pulled all these out of here. And okay. Long top. So it goes on the top. So we're putting this back into the holder. And then there we go. Let's clip back in. I heard it actually clip, I believe. Okay. Thermistor wire is back in. And that's it. They really showed that wire. It must be the most brittle wire of them all. Okay. That's one out of all the wires. That's just one. All right. Step 26 will be assembling the hot end fan parts preparation. Hot end fan, that's this one. And the two M3x18 screws, which are right here. Okay. So this goes back like this. With this, with the wire and it going on like that. Okay. So the two screws that go on it is just one side. Okay. Don't tighten them up all the way. What you're going to do is tighten them up where it holds it in place so you can get the second one and still be able to move the fan. There we go. Okay. Now you go back and retighten that. It's plastic, so don't over tighten. Okay. And this is going to go on the bottom. So what we're going to do is put this back into the groove area like it used to be. And this goes on the bottom left. Snaps in. Done. Okay. Uh, 28. This is the big blower fan. We're going to need the MK4S print fan blower. That's this. As you can see, it's on the bottom. And I believe that it's got a brand new case cover, so I don't remember them telling me to tear this apart, but we're going to do that now. Yeah, I was wrong. It didn't say new part here, but it is a new part.
Yay!
So this is going to go back together again. See, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Get that other piece that I just put over here. One more. I'm saying this has still got to go on the parts cooling. There we go. All right, all parts back. No harm. All right, this part, now we need new parts. Looks like there's a lot of little parts in here. So, bring them up big so I can see them. All right. This part, yes. This part, I believe, yes. And this part. We'll see if that's it. And square nuts. Let's see. For the following steps, please see face can cover one. Shroud. 3x8 torx screw. 3x8 torx. These are 3x8 torx. Now these are 3x5 torx. Three by 8 torx. Okay. We need 2 of them. M3x5 torx. 5. M3. Oh, that's ones I just had in my hands. Okay. Okay, that's 1, 3, 4, 5 with 1 spare. if you make yourself a spare, like with all your spare screws in, it's really hard to find. Like if you keep all the spares, if you don't keep them in the bag that they came in, you don't know the size. Okay, we need 1, 3, 5 square nuts. That's more than 5. Let's see. 1, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. It's opened up like a 10. All right. That's it. That's all the screws we need. Now the assembly, part step 29. And we're going to take this. Okay. We're going to take this part, and you can always tell what belongs in them as you see the little squares right here on the top. There's 2. So the square nuts go, since they're square, goes in the square holes. Okay. And the best thing to do is take a screwdriver and push them down, so you make sure that the screw can go in without any issue. Okay. The other side has another one. Good. And if you turn it over, you have 2 more squares right here and right here. If you watch the video that I have when I put this together, you can see lots of this. This and pulling down hex nuts. 2 main . Okay. And this part right here has 1. See the square. Okay. This one doesn't need to be pushed down a lot. There we go. This one you can actually see it in the light with the hole. Okay. That's, now it wants us to actually put the fan in. to this, and they want you to route the wiring. Do you see the little, they look like a little groove all the way around it? So they want you to route the wire from the top of this so put this in first. Okay. And then take the wire and you should be able to push it down. Don't use anything sharp. This is actually just a square edge, so it's not going to really cut the wire. And bring it all the way around. Kind of like got this little thing going around the nut right there. And at the end, you got it all the way around. We're going to put the top on it. And this is going to hold in the wire into that groove that we have. And these nuts, these screws have the plastic, or they're automatically going to create their own way into the plastic. Alright, those are both tight. Okay. Now we're going to slip this on. With this pointing up. I see. It's going to go inside these two, I would call them snap points. and slide in. And then we have a screw that actually holds it on this side. So there's two snap points right here. Bring it in, angle it, push it down. Let's see. So one of these little M3x5 RTs are what's going to hold it. And since we checked the angle of the square nut, it should just go right in. Like that. Right there. Then your cable has this little square out right there. Okay, now we have to mount this to the printer itself. So what they want is to make sure that the motor side, the white label, goes on the inside. And there's two holes on both sides. So this is just going to go down in like that. And the wire is going to go into the openings. Now, this time we'll put it on right. That goes on a lot better when you have it on right. Okay. The only reason why this won't work right is if I bent or if one of the screws or one of the nuts changed position. All right, it's tight. All right, that ain't going nowhere. All right, this one goes up to the second one. So again, it's going to go in through where all the wires go. Sorry. And this is going to pop into turn it around right. Okay, snapped in, and voila. I believe we can plug in the other two things over here. And the one on top. And the only thing we're missing is the top one. Okay. All right. Now it's time for the new. No, it's time for my hot end to go back in. Okay, so we have the same thermistor, but we have a new hot end with heat break. So that came in like that. So that's the new hot end, or the new nozzle, I would say. So we need to take out this one. There's still a 0.4, and we also need the new sock. We have a sock this time. Last time we didn't have a sock with it. It's part of the upgrade. We get a sock. And that's your sock. This is where our funny tools come into play. And normally I would heat up the hot end before trying to remove this. So what we're going to do is put one on here, and then the other one, okay, that was pretty easy. Goes up like this. Unscrews out. And there is the current one. The new one is going to go right back in like that one came out. Go back up. Go ahead and put it in by hand. Get to the end. Just do a little hit. And voila, it's on. All right. And we can put the new sock on now, and that's going to cover up everything. Okay, there's the sock, and there's our nozzle. We're up step 37, and we're going to put this back in. And remember, it's held on by the two soon as I find the other one. I got one. There's the other one. Two of the thumb screws. So easy removal. Okay. So what we have to do is put the two thumb screws in where they were before. And that was right here. Don't tighten them at all because you have to get this in. Just get them where they're threaded. Okay. And the nozzle goes forward. And it should go up in the hole. It's right here. Come on. If I bend this forward, everything that I have on top is going to fall off. There it is. Alright, so this goes back like this. Make sure it's all the way up. Your thermistor goes on the top most. And then when you're done, let's get you a little bit better view for the thumb screws. Okay. And they only have to be thumb tight because they're thumb screws. Get it? Okay. All right, it's all the way up. And that channel gets pretty thick because everything goes in this channel. This is going to go in there. This does not go. This goes in the channel too. If you want to, you can put the thermistor in first. Goes in, and I'm going to put it underneath the black and white. Okay, that's in there. Now, since all the other cables are in there, you can use the thicker cable to pinch them all in to make sure that they don't come back out. And I'll tell you, they're not going to want to go in there. this way. Okay, now we need a fan door cover. Okay, so it looks like this fan is not going to be used anymore. So that's out. But we will be using the screw. Welcome back, everybody. And as you see, we have the cover on now, and that's replacing what used to be there of the cooling fan. Since we have this new fan that we put on with all the screws installed. So this fan is now an extra part. All right. So as I was going through, I was actually connecting most of the cables. So I put the extruders back in. I have the two on the side that I had to take off, they're back in. And I did that while we were actually just doing this install. So let me take you closer to it. And so you can see all the wires that are on the buddy board or love board. And there's two over here. And we have the main extruder gear here with the E that actually lets you know what this is. All right. So right now we're at step 42, connecting the extruder cables, which we've already put them all back on the top, which I've shown you. The two on the opposite side, because they were, once you put this back on, the cables have memory where they know where they've been, so it's pretty easy. Checking the board. And they want you to look at, you make sure that everything is put exactly back where it was, and it is. So it says to close the idler mechanism before proceeding to the next step. If you haven't already done so, use the following sequence. Close the extruder idler to the extruder, close the idler swivel to lock it over. Okay, we've already done that. That's this portion right here. Okay, so it is all locked up. And they're showing what it should look like when it's done. And that picture is exactly what we have. Now we have a new cover. And for the following steps, this is step 44. This is covering the love board parts preparation. Love board cover is a new part. And it's bigger than the old one that we used to have for a cover. Okay, so here's what the new one looks like. made out of the new material that they're using. Love board cover right, new part. And that cover looks like the old one, but it's made out of the new material. It's a Nextruder bag 2 of 2. Okay, and that's going to be this. I do like the new material. It's very smooth. Also looks like in this bag, and I don't see it yet in the instructions, but it looks like looks like this. So I'm gonna leave that out because I'm sure that we'll be using that at some point. All right. So we got it also says the M3x10 screw, one that we removed earlier. That screw I think is the one that I tested and broke. But I have extra ones. Not a big deal. In fact, there was one right in my sight. All right. So covering the love board side cover, curve and arrange the cables on the right side of the extruders. You can see in the as you see in the picture, which they are, because they're in the same as they were previously. Do not pinch the cables. Secure it with the M3x10 screw. So that is the opposite side of the, and this just covers the side, the two cables. So let me rearrange the printer a little bit. So that's going to be covering just these two right here. Okay. So with that one, it just goes over like this. You should see it. And let me get the screw. Okay. Put this over on the other side. And there we go. Nice and secure. So that's this cover right here. Okay, so this is going to be step 46, covering the love board top cover. Make sure that you push the cables to the extruder to make more space around them. Slide the love board cover over. So with it like this, it's going to go on mostly this pointing to the back. And see where it goes in. And let's push those cables in. And there it is. All right. Very, very clean. Let me take you and show you the back. It's a very clean fit around here. And this what holds it. All right, that is done. All right, so step 47 is what's left. What don't you need anymore? Well, you no longer need these parts. And it's showing the old cover, of course, the fan, lug board rake cover, the old case cover. All of them are now gone. They even have a part 2 of what's left, the main plate. So they said on here, main plate 1, although you didn't remove the main plate part from your printer, it was included in your upgrade kit. Over time, this part may experience slight wear, so it's wise to keep it as a spare. Well, that's good. So here's some of the parts we get rid of. There's the old top cover. Looks almost just like the old one, except for it's made out of the PETG. Here's the old side cover. The old fan. All 3 of the little parts. And I would say, instead of throwing them away, I would put them in a bag and save them, because you never know that when you might need a part for this printer. And you can always put the old parts back on. They still work fine. They're just in the PETG. Or you can print new ones. The old, so what I'm going to do with the whole print head heat break is put it back in to the where the other one was. That came in here. So what we'll do is we'll just put this back together and save this. Okay. And right now, it says, now you feel like you can fix anything, right? Eat gummy bears. And we get to eat 5. And the Nextruder's done. And even with just printing with this thing just before I started this upgrade, the old hot end had no residue in it as far as plastics. So I think that was really good for a printer not to have any residue. So what are we going to have next time? And I don't know. I think it's better if I actually break these up into each section that we deal with, because these videos get really long. And if I was doing a live, that would be a lot different. But these aren't lives; these are recorded videos. And so the next one we're going to be doing is going to be upgrading the connectivity. and this could be upgrading the Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And I think there's another board that goes in here. So this is gonna be fun. Last one was on step 4, or not step, but process 4. Process 5 will be coming up, and on the next one. All right, well, we got this part done. The new Nextruder for the 4S is complete. I hope everybody's enjoying this series of the upgrade from MK4 to MK4S, and I'm glad you're joining us. This is Ken with Ken's Tech Lab. As always, stay awesome.